Last month, I put out a video explaining why eBay sellers have been leaving the platform, and that video went semi-viral for this channel. And this happened because sellers are obviously frustrated. And if you look at the thousands of combined comments, there was a common term that was mentioned in most of the comments, and that was fees. Today, I'm going to break down the hidden truth of eBay fees. What's up? My name's Ty Wilson. I host a show called Chasing Cardboard, and I've been full-time eBay sports card reselling for years. Over the next few minutes, I want to provide a very clear breakdown of eBay seller fees, because if you've sold on the platform for any period of time, you know the fees can be pretty cryptic unless you really take the time to look into the details of what they're actually charging you. I love the eBay platform, and I still believe it's the #1 online marketplace to build a successful reselling side hustle or full-time job, but it's definitely become more expensive and definitely much more confusing. Let's break down one of my recently sold items. It's a 1963 Topps Mickey Mantle card. We sold this from Skip's collection in a recent episode of Chasing Cardboard. Great episode. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. But this card sold for $425.42 on a 10-day auction. We're going to break down the details of those fees, but before we look into those details, let's quickly overview the eBay fees straight from their website. There are two types of selling fees that eBay charges. First is the insertion fee, and second is the final value fee. I'd make a case that promotions and advertising should be a third category, but regardless, we'll cover that later. They have two fees. Let's start with the insertion fee. The insertion fee is a non-refundable charge per listing. Every seller gets up to 250 zero insertion fee listings a month, and then it's 35 cents for each listing. If you have a store, you do get more free insertion fees, as you can see from this chart. And usually it's a lot more fixed price versus auctions. In addition, the insertion fee is reduced as your store level increases, which you can pay to increase your store level. There are obviously some additional insertion fees that can be added as well, such as the 1 to 3 day auction charge, which is $1 per listing, listing in 2 categories, which doubles your insertion fee. And then there's additional fees for getting international site visibility, and the old school fees like bold title, subtitles, and Gallery Plus, which cost a few extra bucks depending on the upgrade. But that basically summarizes the insertion fee. So now let's break down the final value fees. eBay says they charge one final value fee when your item sells. This is not quite the case, and I'm going to show you why. But according to their website, the eBay final value fee is calculated as a percentage of the total amount of the sale plus the order fee. The order is defined as any number of items purchased by the same buyer at checkout with the same shipping method. So you combine more items into one, it's one order, you get charged that one fee. Orders $10 or less get a 30-cent order fee, and then orders over $10 get charged a 40-cent order fee. Got it? Well, then comes the percentage-based fee. And as you can see from the eBay chart here, the final value fee percentage is completely based on the type of items that you sell. By the way, the links to all of these pages are in the show notes, so you can go check it out on eBay's page. But let's use sports cards as the example. For any sports cards up to $7,500, the fee is 13.25%. Anything over $7,500 is 13.25%, and then 2.35% over that amount of $7,500. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Okay, so let's see how this actually plays out with my 63 Mantle card, which sold for $425.42. But the fees aren't based on the final sold price. They're based on the item price plus shipping and handling plus sales tax plus other. Other. So on the 1963 Topps Mantle, the fee is calculated against a final value fee of $461.40. Because I have a premium store subscription, my final value fee is 12.35%. So $56.98 is my final value fee. Well, I need to add the 40 cents for the order fee to make it $57.38. So my net proceeds on this transaction are $373.04 from a $425.42 sale. I didn't have an insertion fee on this item because it was one of my free ones, giving me a true final value selling fee of 14.04%. But wait, on this card, I actually paid to promote the listing, and I set my promoted percentage to 5%. I do this on a variety of cards and collections throughout the year. By doing this, it means that I'm probably going to get charged the 5%. But that fee isn't listed in that order breakdown. It's actually listed within the all transaction list under a completely different fee line item. I'll click view and you can see the details. eBay is charging me the 5%, but here we see again that they're charging the 5% on the 461.40, not the 425.42. So instead of it being 21.27 for a 5% fee on the actual sales price, it's 23.07 in promoted fees, or 5.4% of the actual sales price. Phew. So on the 425.42 card, I paid $80.45 in eBay fees. That puts my net price at $344.97 and putting my overall selling cost at 18.91%. That is definitely a hearty fee. Does all of that make sense? Well, if it doesn't, put a comment below and we can answer them. But now that we've done all that, let me give you a quick feedback on how these fees are structured and a quick suggestion to eBay. First, you have to pay to play the game of eBay, and those fees are providing you two very important things. One, they give you access to their traffic. On that 1963 Mantle, I had 553 views just on that card. And over the past 90 days in my main eBay store, we've had 61 million impressions and 400,000 views on my items. The cost to acquire that type of traffic anywhere else in the world would be astronomical. Those fees also provide you convenience. So you got traffic and convenience, which the convenience means you can literally run your entire business inside of one platform: listing, shipping, customer management, and taxes. It's all under one roof. This is an exceptional value. You know, I used to get frustrated that my final value fee was being charged on the shipping and the taxes being added in, but then I realized I'm just paying for access to those tools. And for the taxes, I'm paying for them to handle my sales taxes in each of the states. I will happily pay for them to do that. Take a step back and decide if those fees are worth the traffic and the time savings for your fees. The second takeaway I have here is that it's really important for you as a seller to stay on top of your actual cost to sell. By simply looking at the transaction breakdown every so often, it'll keep you in tune with your net proceeds. You can sometimes just run the numbers in your head and your profit becomes muddied up, but then you look at the actual numbers and you see your actual net income minus your cost of goods sold, and it helps remind you of some areas to improve. You know, maybe it's buying better items, maybe it's reducing your promoted fees, maybe it's upgrading your eBay store to reduce your transaction fees. So my advice here is to stay in tune with those fees so that you can keep your margins healthy. All right, so here's a suggestion for eBay. But first, if you want a simple eBay fee calculator that you can just copy and just make your own, awesome. Add your name to the email list below and I'll immediately send you a Google Sheet with a very straightforward eBay calculator that I put together that you can use for your own business. Okay, 2 quick ideas to improve the transparency of fees. First, I really wish that eBay would just get all of the fees into the same item breakdown. By having to click around and add numbers together, it becomes a bit frustrating. In addition, eBay can easily add all that into one page and then add a net sales plus final selling fee percentage that brings everything together for the seller to understand. Nothing to hide. Just show us our actual overall combined fee for each item. This sounds like a no-brainer to me. The second thing is I want more transparency on the promotion fees. With general promotions, they tell us that we only pay the fee if the item sells. My assumption has always been that they mean we only pay if the promoted visibility led to the sell. If that's not the case, I'd love some clarification from eBay, or maybe someone that's watching this can provide some clarification. But if that is the case, they need to tell us or provide some clarity on if the promoted clicks led to the sell. Because if you look at the Mickey Mantle view chart here, a super small percentage of the clicks came from the promoted, but yet I was charged 5%, making me think that the sell maybe didn't even come from the promotion itself. Maybe I'm convincing myself right now that promoting needs to be investigated to see if it's really worth it, but stay tuned on that. We'll come back to it. In summary, the fees can be confusing unless you just take a minute and you break them down. I hope this provides a little bit of clarity on how typical fees are charged on an eBay item. If it did, be sure to like the video and let me know in the comments. Oh, and here is a video of how I sold an item every minute for 24 hours straight. It ended up being a masterclass in pumping the eBay algorithm. Enjoy. Take care.